Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to learn about functions in Python. So now you must be thinking, what are functions, right? So basically functions is nothing but a piece of code that you can reuse and are callable. What did I say? A piece of code that is reusable. A piece of code that is reusable. So let's understand with an example. Let's say I ask you to print out sum of two numbers. So what will you do? So let's say A is equals to uh, int input, enter your number. Okay. Then B also the same, like we'll take numbers in input, and I'll just simply write print A plus B, right? I'll just simply print A plus B. So if I run this thing, I'll say, let's say 10 plus 5 is equals to 15. So this is basically a code which helps me to print sum of two numbers, right? Exactly. This is what the code looks like. But what if I asked you that I want to, currently I have to run it every time, right? This whole code, okay? Let's say 10, then 3, okay? Again, if I want to get sum of two numbers, I have to run the whole code, whole three lines, right? I have to run the whole code. So here comes functions. What are functions? It helps us to reuse the code, okay? So let's understand with an example. In order to write a function, here is simple syntax. Just write the def keyword, def, okay, then the function name, then the function name. Function naming is similar to variable naming. So just write, let's say, sum of digits. This is my function name, let's say. Okay. And in the brackets, we pass out arguments. We pass out arguments. So let's say I want to pass a comma b. These are basically the variables or the data you want to use in your function. The arguments or parameters are basically the data you want to use in your function. So def sum of digits a comma b, just simply print out a plus b. And if I run this thing, nothing happens. Why? Because we just defined a function. This is the definition of a function. This is just the definition of a function. Now, in order to run a function, or in order to use the function, we have to call a function. What do we have to do? Call a function. So how do we call it? Simply put the name of the function, sum of digits, and in the brackets pass out the arguments which you defined. So I have defined two arguments, a and b, so I'll pass out the values. So let's say 10 and 5. Okay, I'll do that. The 10 for a and 5 for b. You can pass any value you want, and when I click on run, as you can see, it outputs 15. Now I'll just simply write sum of digits 100 comma 44, right? And if I run this thing, it returns 144. It adds the both number and returns the or prints out the output. So isn't it easy compared to this approach? Here we have to run the whole code again and again, then we have to input the values, but here we're just writing a simple line, which is our function definition, and we are calling the function with the values we want, right? So functions makes our life really easy. Function makes our life really easy. We'll be learning about how to use functions in our programming in our real life in the future classes. But as of now, you just remember, this is the definition of a function. You just need to create a function like this. Then here are the arguments or the parameters. These are the values you pass into a function. These are the statements which will be executed on the basis of the arguments you passed, and this is how you call a function. So that's pretty easy for you guys. Now let's say I want you to create, this is a assignment for you. Create a function to print out the, let's say, what do we do? Create a function to print out the reverse of any string. Okay, so you have to create a function that returns the reverse of any string. So I hope you guys will able to do it. So thank you everyone.